News, the level of corruption that has just been unveiled is next level. I want to show you this. This is all happening this morning. The USAID offices are officially shut down. Musk rips the fraudulent Treasury handouts as reports mount. Treasury officers were always instructed to approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. Guys, we have officially uncovered some of the most corrupted things in our American history today. Today, Elon Musk and his team has shown us that Treasury officers, officials have been giving our hard-earned taxpayer dollars to known terrorist groups and companies that they knew were fraudulent. So Donald Trump has now signed an executive order shutting down the USAID office. They literally have the entire officers and all the employees standing outside the building protesting. But we know now, we have the evidence that we have been scammed. The American people have been scammed. People have been making money off of us. Terrorist groups have been getting our hard-earned taxpayer dollars. And now we know the truth. And I've got more details to show you in a moment. Also, our meeting with Trump's guy, Marco Rubio, has one meeting with the Panama president, and he caved and is not renewing the agreement with China over the Silk Route. The Trump effect. The Mexican president has caved. This morning, Trump is delaying the tariffs on Mexico for 1 month, and the Mexican president is sending 10,000 troops to help secure the southern border so no fentanyl and drugs pass through into the United States. The Trump effect. There's a new proposal coming from Elon Musk himself that would eliminate all the property taxes for all Americans across the United States. President Trump just announced that he is demanding Ukraine to give its rare earth minerals to the United States as payment for all the aid that's been distributed to them over the past years. Also, Trump said that the only way that tariffs are going away from Canada is if they become the 51st state. We are winning. The American people are winning right now, guys. I have so much good news to show you. Things are happening. I want to say thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so I can take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation, like Elaine Demeen. Y'all show Elaine some love in the chat. Remember, we take these super chats and memberships, and we give that to charity once a month, everybody. And if you don't mind, if you could click the thumbs up like button, it really does help out so much with the channel. We've got a lot to get into this morning. Things are happening. Trump is signing executive orders left and right. Check this out.
I was not sure initially if this was sarcasm or not. This is obviously a left-wing outlet. They note reality check, talking about how Trump they think is breaking norms. Democrats have a religious devotion to norms and institutions that Republicans don't share. Bro, is this freaking real? Mike Allen, is this real? It's a unique feature of Trumpism to despise the deep state mainstream media and checks on executive power. Dude, what the are you talking about? Democrats have a religious devotion to norms and institutions? Is this freaking real, dude? You're talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid? Wait, what? That's a norm? Michael, how many times have we raided an ex-president's home and his wife's underwear drawer? Do you know? He's going to say as a math major 0. He's like, I think it's the concept of absolute zero, the absence of value, like it never happened. Hey, Mike, bro, what the f are you talking about, bro? The Mar-a-Lago raid never happened. Multiple impeachments on fake made-up crimes like a fake insurrection and a fake quid pro quo deal in Ukraine, even though he released a transcript of the call. When does that happen? How many presidents, Michael, do you know that have been impeached twice over fake crimes? Just throw it out there. He's going to say same number, which is no number, which is 0.
0.
It is the absence of actual numerical value. 0. 0. I'll throw another one at it. A Spygate, collusion hoax. How many fake international near World War III type scenarios were started over a fake collusion hoax with a nuclear-powered enemy by Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, the Democrat machine. The answer is freaking zero. Mike, wake up, bro. I know your Axios outlet pretends to be kind of center left. This is crazy, dude. Democrats have a religious devotion to norms. I sincerely, and I mean this, because I actually like reading Axios, even though it's turning more and more communist by the day. You should seriously revise this or get in a new line of work. Freaking embarrassing. Reality check. Bro,
guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is as crazy as it gets. That they literally put on there, it's a unique feature of Trumpism to despise the deep state. Mainstream media and checks on executive power. Are you kidding me? Guys, I had no idea that the deep state was so ingrained into people's minds, but what I'm about to show you next, you're not going to believe.
About a reality check. Also, I saw this war clandestine tweet this morning about USAID. Folks, I put it after this because this is happening right now. You know, we're 2 weeks into the Trump administration. USAID is already being purged. USAID, We have done extensive, leave this up for a second. We have done extensive segments with Mike Benz, Deep State Mike Benz, who dissects the deep state all the time. He's the best guy at it. USAID is not an aid organization. It is a U.S. government entity that provides a slush fund for every single deep state censorship mission around the world you've probably ever heard of. You know, it's happening. USAID's being purged. Elon's openly pointing out that USAID had a role producing bioweapons like COVID-19 and kill millions. He says, ladies and gentlemen, I think we did it. I think it's actually happening. If we continue on this trajectory, deep state oligarchs and NGOs will be directly implicated in crimes against humanity, and the world will demand justice. The right people are in control of government, and they know where the bodies are buried. I don't know this person, but I've never heard anything more accurate.
Wow.
Folks, contrasts. Contrasts are powerful. Sound bites are powerful. Snapshots are powerful. The right people are in charge. The dissecting the deep state machine is happening right now, and the contrast being created between deep state Biden and Obama and this Trump sandwich we had in between are now absolutely priceless. There is so much good stuff happening this weekend. I had a hard time cramming it at the beginning of the show so you didn't miss anything. You may, in the volume of information, drinking from an open fire hydrant, you may have missed this. Donald Trump on True Social. This was this weekend. This morning, I ordered precision military airstrikes on senior ISIS attack planners in Somalia. These killers were hiding in caves, threatening the U.S. and our allies. He notes at the end, we will find you, and I can't take the winning anymore. Folks, my blood pressure can't handle all this winning. I can't handle it. Michael can't handle it. Justin's walking out of the room. He's like, I'm 10 minutes in, no more winning. No more winning today. We don't have enough time in the show to cover all this winning. Poor guys come in. We have these thing called floaters. I do a rundown the night before, and then between last night and this morning, I throw more elements in the show. They're called floaters because they're not in the rundown voicemail I leave. Why do you guys care? I'm just telling you. So in the morning, there's like 100 floaters because it's all winning. Michael's like, I'm sick of the winning. No more floaters. Can we do a winning hiatus? No, we can't. No, we cannot. We will not do a winning hiatus. There will be no hiatus of winning. None. Now, I mentioned contrast. You think I just randomly threw that in there? Because obviously I'm kidding. I love the winning. Keep the winning coming. I don't care if really, it is irrelevant if we cover all the winning in my show. It is. If there's so much winning we can't cover it, fine. We'll cover it on social media later. We'll make it. We'll do a winning special. But contrasts matter, folks. And seriously, you got Trump whacking a bunch of ISIS terrorists saying, yeah, we'll kill you if you F with us again. You've got the Democrats who still think they're religiously devoted to norms and institutions. That was funny. You got a censorship organization in USAID. That's a front group for the deep state getting pretty much wiped out. Mexico basically folds this morning.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much for your support. We literally have almost 800 people watching already. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help out so much. Thank you so much.
And what are the Democrats doing? What, Trump's kicking everybody's rock'em sock'em robot style? They picked Ken Martin from Minnesota. But they were, they have to pick all the officers for the National Democratic Committee there. And a little fight broke out. This is real, by the way. I'm not kidding. Republicans winning. Here are the Democrats arguing over if they... It's real. I'm not you, man. If they met the quotas for enough non-binary candidates on the ballot, so they had to move everything around. This is classic. Here's the Democrats versus the Republicans. Check this out.
Rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
Any gender, guys.
So
except
again,
male and female.
This is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. To ensure our process accounts for male, female, and non-binary candidates, we conferred with our RBC co-chair, our LGBT caucus co-chair, and others to ensure that the process is inclusive and meets the gender balance requirements in our rules.
Folks, I swear to you, I just said to the boys here, I was going to cut this thing off early, and I thought, no, let's enjoy and savor every second of that. So I let the thing play out.
Guys, while we are over here winning, giving Americans back their hard-earned money, the Democrats are worried about if they've got all the right genders on the ballot. Paul Triggs, thank you so much, said America definitely winning. Australia taxpayers opening 3 years. Let's go. Y'all show Paul some love in the chat. The Doge team, guys, look at this. The Doge team discovered, among other things, that payment approval officers at Treasury were instructed always to approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career, not even once. Why do you think that they did not want the Doge team in the Treasury and they tried to block off access? Right now, what are these people doing? They're standing outside, protesting outside the USAID office that has now officially been shut down. And they're complaining that they can't launder any more money. I mean, they can't give any more money away. Clifton Thompson, first timer with the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Clifton some love in the chat. Look at this. It's been shut down. Trump said no more. He signed an executive order. He said no more are we gonna allow this corruption to continue to move forward. Watch this, guys. Zelensky claims Ukraine received less than half of U.S. aid. Don't know where all that money went. So where did the over $100 billion of taxpayer money go? Guys, if the corruption is, they're complaining about gender on the Democrat side, and we're finding out that, guess what? Our whole Treasury system is all corrupt. Listen to this, guys. A lot of changes coming.
That's why he's giving shattering blows. Here's a shattering blow. USAID, you're locked out of your office. Go home because there's no more money being spent. And they're sitting there going, well, that's statutory. That was set up and thinking, hey, yeah, I'm sure it is. And Trump, that to Trump is a detail. Just a detail. Maybe get the lawyers. They'll figure that out. He's shut them down and no more money in that line diagram. And look, Elon's an engineer. He's looking at like where the cash is. The cash is all throughout the system. And it's very illustrative where the cash is. We have to face some hard topics like Medicaid, these fantasies about what you're going to cut. You have to be real here about where that money goes and who's it helping. Since the corporation ain't paying anybody, of course they got to rely on the government. The one thing that should to jump off the page, the OMB memo, and when they were lighting up the phones, the guys down Doral, it's every county, it's everywhere. This is why I say it's not going to be easy. These choices are not going to be easy. Let's get back to that. The thing itself. This is about money and power. So you got all these different elements going on, and Trump's moving a mile a minute. He's got people, and here's what he does. He's like Andrew Carnegie. If you ever read that book on Carnegie, what was the famous book about Andrew Carnegie, about the guy that interviewed him about how you make $1 million and how you become a millionaire? He interviewed Carnegie, and Carnegie says, I don't know anything about making steel. I'm not a steel maker. He organized teams and people and empowered them and set them down a path, and they built U.S. Steel. Yep. It's a famous book. I'll find it. I'll remember. I'll get it up during the break. But Carnegie wasn't a steel maker. Some guy from Scotland created U.S. Steel, did mergers and actually hammered it together. This is Trump. It's not all going to be perfect, but man, oh man, is it different than they've ever had. People would come in. One tiny thing they would do would take 6 months. One removing of one U.S. attorney, Bush and these guys, because they're all in on the fix.
Yep.
This is why it never changed. They were controlled opposition. They're in on the fix. That's why it's all performative. That's why they were the Washington Generals to the progressives and the globalist Harlem Globetrotters. It's all just performance art. This ain't performance art. This is it, baby. They're in shock. They're traumatized. He's a blunt force instrument. He's traumatizing. He's hammering them every day. And he's not backing off. He's not giving them any happy talk. Walks on the tarmac. Hey, I'm not totally sure what Elon's doing, but he's cutting costs. He's a smart guy. He's doing it. Boom. They're like, it melt, but what do you know? And they're asking 1,000 questions. He just blows them off. I don't know. He signed it on Saturday morning, late morning or an early afternoon. So 48 hours. Check. Charlemagne. Boom. Canada. He's going to talk to Trudeau at 3:00 in the afternoon. I anticipate something like that's going to come out too. Canadians not going to be too feisty. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's the Doge subcommittee chair. She's called the CEO of NPR PBS to testify concerning the systematically biased news coverage produced on behalf of federally funded radio and TV. Hello, that's going to be interesting. I want to have up there all the squish Republicans have voted for this crap for decade after decade after decade. Anyway, you see the Thor gave a hammer blow in Mexico because they're not going to be a country. This is called using leverage, not financial leverage, operating leverage. Trump's a master deal maker. Crushed Mexico. Now they're sending troops. They can't, stop them fentanyl. Hey, maybe we're going to have to take a raid or two on some cartels. I anticipate Pete's not down there just to check the wall. Pete's down there to do a surveillance. So I assume we're going to be going full Sicario. If you have not seen the movie, go watch the movie. I think we're going to be going full Sicario shortly. That's the section in Sicario right there at Juarez and El Paso where we built the wall right up the side of the mountain to stop the human trafficking. It was horrible what they're doing to the children there and the young girls. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And the U.S. government just sat there at the time and just looked. And President Trump couldn't get the Army Corps of Engineers or anybody. Now he could. Could fire some people. Boom, you're gone. Boom, you're gone. This is the difference. In the first 12 days, they put Darren Beatty in as Assistant Secretary of State for Public Diplomacy. The same guy they walked out of the White House in 2017 because, oh no, he went to a conference. This is just not. This is a whole different. This is a different deal. This is a man that they tried assassination attempts on. This is a man who consciously made a decision. This is the payoff you get. Mm-hmm. When you're Cincinnatus, you're going to be Cincinnatus. You're not going to. He's not blinking. He wasn't that happy the other day. I can tell you, he wasn't that happy the other day, but that memo went out to rescind the memo, but then not the content. I don't think you're going to be seeing that anymore.
Guys, I'm telling you, the good news just keeps coming. Guys, Panama surrenders. We will not renew agreement with China over Silk Route. This is the Panama president, just as they were walking out of the meeting with Secretary Rubio. Guys, one meeting, that's all it took for Trump and his boy Marco Rubio to put Panama in line. When this same guy was like, we're not going to do any agreements with the United States. The Trump effect, baby, smacking them in line. I also wanted to show you the post from Trump this morning. Said, I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation where she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl, illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for 1 month. Why? Because he's got to see if she holds to her word. She don't hold to her word, boom, baby. Negotiations headed by Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick, high-level representatives of Mexico. I look forward to participating in these negotiations as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. Guys, how beautiful is that? Trump doesn't even have to be in the negotiations. They just know that because he's involved, things are going to happen. Guys, I'm telling you, the discoveries are so unreal. Guys, I want to say we have almost 1,200 people watching. This is amazing. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help the channel out so much. Thank you so much. Check this out.
To respond. Canadian native and O'Leary Ventures chairman Kevin O'Leary joins us right now from Tokyo. Kevin, good evening to you there.
That's right.
All right, so you have talked to Donald Trump about tariffs on Canada and Mexico and China. What'd you tell him?
I was speaking specifically to him the last time I was at Mar-a-Lago about delaying the decision on Canada until they had finished their election. As you know, the Canadian government has fallen. There is no love lost between Trudeau and Freeland and Donald Trump. They had a bad relationship in his first mandate. It's obviously gotten worse. Trudeau's been calling him all weekend, calls not returned. This is not good. They're supposed to speak today. I would prefer, and many Canadians feel the same way, and many investors, I mean, really, I'm an investor, would rather have the new government in place to negotiate the new deal, but that's not what happened.
Yeah. Kevin, Donald Trump ran on lowering costs for food and energy and stuff like that. Right now, the conventional wisdom is if they go into effect 25%, Canada and Mexico, Americans are going to get hurt a little bit.
I look at this as the beginning of a negotiation, and I've always said to everybody on both sides, because I'm kind of in a unique situation. You know, I'm a Canadian, but my entire family's American, so and I invest on both sides of the border. In chaos, there's opportunity. The biggest thing going on here is a negotiation. We know it's about fentanyl right now. You had Doug Burgum on just moments ago saying exactly that. But the real opportunity comes out of the chaos and economic union. And I think this is the beginning of that narrative. I will note that energy is only at 10%. And I think the reason that's the case, or at least part of it, is that Danielle Smith, the premier of Alberta, took the time to go meet Trump in Mar-a-Lago a few weeks ago and plead her case about the importance of the relationship on energy of the U.S. And here she is getting a benefit from it at 10% opposed to 25%. And, you know, that's good. Burgum's now the energy czar. He understands the importance of Canada. You got to remember, Alberta has more energy than the entire United States. That's where there's opportunity. That's where the economic union makes sense to investors.
Speaking of opportunity, Elon Musk and the Doge team are looking at how much money the federal government spends, and he posted this on X. The Doge team discovered, among other things, that the payment approval officers at Treasury were instructed always to approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. They literally never denied a payment in their entire careers, not even once. What do you make of Elon Musk going through Washington right now with a Hoover?
I'm okay with it. I think the American people are okay with it. Everybody knows the dirty little secret about government. It drips with fat. No one's ever done an exercise like this. I thought he'd get a lot more pushback from Congress, and he's not. He's going in there with a spatula and he's scraping out billions of dollars, and people are okay with it. After all, it's taxpayers' money.
Right.
Why not do this? If you sit around your kitchen table, you got to have a budget every year.
Right.
Why can't we apply the same kind of philosophy to government? And that's why he's getting a lot of latitude and a lot of slack, even though he's a controversial guy. But look at the executional skills he has.
Sure.
There's nobody like him. Let him do his thing.
Mr. Wonderful, you are in Tokyo making a movie with who?
Guys, let me tell you this. You're not going to believe this. So after all this finding out, guess what Elon Musk comes out and says? Hey, guess what? We need to, says he supports ending all property taxes in America. So there's leaks now that Elon Musk is working with Trump to figure out how we can actually allow people to own their own homes. As crazy as that is to say in America. Because you know if you don't pay your property taxes, they'll come and seize your property and kick your butt out. But Elon Musk says you should have the right to own your home without having to continuously pay property taxes. On top of that, check this out. Senator Joni Ernst says that U.S. taxpayers funded studies of whether sending cats to spas produced less fur balls, and towards studying the effects of putting shrimp on treadmills. Yep, guys, I'm telling you, all this waste is going away. When I look at the next year, thank you so much, Sherry Garcia, for the super chat. Said, our hurt will help us not be so complacent. Let's go. So y'all show Sherry some love in the chat. The more and more that they dig, the more they find the corruption. Every single dang day, guys. More and more. He's only been in office 12 days. And look what he's already found. Listen to what's about to happen next with the tariffs with the EU. Because they're next.
Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's great to be with you.
Your reaction, Newt, to these tariffs and this overreaction on Wall Street. Stocks are selling off. The Dow is down 654 points right now on the news that President Trump will, in fact, put these tariffs into effect beginning tomorrow.
Well, look, this is a very big, very wrenching change. For really since World War II, when we were the only country that had an economy that hadn't been bombed. And we were half the world's gross domestic product. We've allowed other countries to take advantage of us for a variety of reasons, and we've gotten very sloppy about it. We've also been dominated in public policy by New York financiers who are making billions while basically allowing American jobs to go to China and other countries, but they made huge profits out of it. So what you now have is a national movement, and its leader has said, look, I want to protect American jobs. I want the American economy to grow. Well, that is, if you're everybody else. I mean, imagine you had a brother-in-law who always borrowed your car, your vacation home, and your bank account. And one morning you said, you know, I'm not going to loan you my car. You're not going to get my vacation home. And I'm taking my bank account back. You know, your brother-in-law would be really mad. Well, all these countries have been taking advantage of America. And I went through a period in the 80s and 90s when I finally realized, you know, we're just being played for suckers. You know, people talk about free trade. There is no free trade with China. There's no free trade with Mexico. You look at Canada. Trudeau, who is the most unpopular prime minister in Canadian history, instead of working with President Trump, has decided to pick a fight, which he will lose. I mean, Canada is not a big enough country economically to have a head-on fight with the U.S. because the American market ultimately means dramatically more to Canada than the Canadian market means to us. So you're living, literally, Maria, you're living through one of the great historic changes. And that's why occasionally President Trump will quote President McKinley, who was the most advocate of high tariffs, why they were good for America. His entire policy was built around protecting American jobs. And in the 19th century, we grew at an extraordinary rate and became the largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
So I think what you're seeing, and this is going to be a huge, by the way, this is going to be a huge change for the Europeans. They bet on regulation. We bet on innovation. They're going to lose that bet.
Yeah. And look, there's a reason that China has been stealing our intellectual property for decades. That also needs to stop. All of this bad behavior from adversaries. President Trump is saying no more. And he did expect disruption. He told me on Friday.
Just want to say, guys, thank you so much for your support. We have over 1,600 people watching. If you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. We appreciate you so much. In Virginia Friday, I have some news for you on the confirmations.
Look, we may see disruption. That's fine. And that's basically the sentiment that I got from Lee Zeldin as well as John Barrasso. I spoke with both of them yesterday, asking them about the impact of these tariffs. Lee Zeldin was just confirmed as the new EPA administrator. Here's what he said. Watch.
President Trump has done this once and it worked. We'll do it again. President Trump has thought this through. We saw it with the USMCA from President Trump's first term, which was a huge success, replacing NAFTA. And there is that moment where maybe it feels like friction and uncertainty, but President Trump's leadership and the strength and power of the American economy, we have talented people who are working alongside of President Trump to implement this agenda, and I'm confident that we'll achieve the outcome and the vision that President Trump has. He is not going into this blind. He's done it once, it worked. He'll do it again. It'll work this time too.
Are you worried that this tariff plan of President Trump is going to undermine the other policies that are very positive out of this administration?
No, I don't, Maria, because the president has such a pro-growth group of policies in terms of cutting government spending and government waste and the bureaucratic bloat that we have in our federal government right now in terms of keeping taxes low, in terms of also getting rid of regulations, unleashing American energy. All of these things are pro-growth, going to help the economy.
Do you expect that they're going to retaliate tomorrow?
Well, I would expect so, but the president has every right to hold others accountable who do not treat us fairly, properly.
So, Newt, something tells me that the U.S. is not going to be the first one to blink here. And I know President Trump is staying firm. We'll see if they blink by midnight tonight. I do want to get your take on the agenda, though, Newt, because the White House is now saying that President Trump wants to tie the no taxes on tips, overtime pay, and Social Security benefits into the reconciliation bill, that one big, beautiful bill, after House Republicans left their Florida retreat last week with no final plan to pass the agenda, Newt. Apparently, I'm told they went in there saying, we're going to find $2.5 to $3 trillion of offsets to pay for all of this. They came up with $300 billion in spending cuts. They couldn't find any more.
Well, look, I think if you simply take the General Accounting Office report on theft in Medicare and Medicaid, and you take a number of other things like that, we can find the money. But it takes creativity and it takes focusing on reform, not on cutting things. You know, when we reformed welfare, millions of people went to work. They went off food stamps. They went off Medicaid. When we created Medicare Advantage, people took it because it was better and it actually saved money. So I think that if they have to be creative and not just be cookie cutters saying yes or no to small cuts, and if they're creative, there's no question in my mind that we can have better health in America, we can have more honest health in America, and we can have more effective health in America, and people would like that kind of revolution, and they frankly, all of them save an enormous amount of money. Remember, we spend almost 18% of our economy on health care. You cannot continue to allow people to steal. You can't continue to allow programs that don't work. And you can't have a focus on sick treatment rather than a focus on health.
Yeah.
Guys, let me tell you this. The amount of change that's coming is so insane. But I wanted to show you a quick update again, too. A lot of people are asking about what's going on with Pam Bondi, what's going on with all the confirmations. Well, Donald Trump posted this morning, said, Democrats are purposefully delaying virtually all of my nominees. No matter how good and well qualified someone is, they are taking maximum time for approval and laughing about it. They're having a good time at the country's expense and safety. If George Washington and Abraham Lincoln were nominated for a position, the Democrats would take it out to the last moment before having to approve. It is disgraceful. They can get over the landslide loss suffered in the presidential election, but the Democrats don't understand with what they're doing, that their losses will only get greater. Republicans must get tough and must get tough very fast. We need our nominees for the safety and good of our country, because we now know that we're supposed to have some confirmations today, but they've been delayed till tomorrow in terms of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. And so we're looking to now see, okay, what is the next thing? Well, Trump isn't stopping. He has just now created this huge new sovereign wealth fund, guys. Trump is not stopping whatsoever. Listen to this.
And when we do all of this, we will be so successful. We'll create America's own sovereign wealth fund to invest in great national endeavors for the benefit of all of the American people. Why don't we have a wealth fund? Other countries have wealth funds. We have nothing. We have nothing. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, or we can name it something different. I'll talk about it with Mr. Paulson, who's in the audience, and a lot of other friends of mine. And we'll name it something that's appropriate. Perhaps sovereign wealth fund wouldn't be appropriate, but it's going to be the same thing. We'll put tremendous amounts of money through all this money that will be taken in through tariffs and other intelligent things. And we'll have the greatest sovereign wealth fund of them all, and we should have.
Let's go.
And that will be used to do things that will be great for our country, including to invest and wisely invest and build it up bigger and stronger and better than any place on earth. We will build extraordinary national development projects, and everything from highways to airports and to transportation infrastructure, all of the future. We'll be able to invest in state-of-the-art manufacturing hubs, advanced defense capabilities, cutting-edge medical research, and help save billions of dollars in preventing disease in the first place. And I'm very honored to have been endorsed last week by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That was a great endorsement, and he's very much into helping people.
Guys, and let me tell you this. The one thing that's happening right now, which I want to show you, is that Trump is literally pulling back the curtain on the corruption that we have seen over the past 100 years. Anybody, this is what he posted, anybody that's against tariffs, including the fake news Wall Street Journal and hedge funds, is only against them because these people or entities are controlled by China or other foreign or domestic companies. Anybody that loves and believes in the United States of America is in favor of tariffs. They should never end it in favor of the income tax system in 1913. The response to tariffs has been fantastic. So right now, what you're about to see is he's signed a ton of executive orders. And what I love, guys, is that Trump has literally just showed us that, yes, when in 1913, deals were made with people overseas to essentially make certain people rich at the expense of who? The American taxpayer. And we've been screwed over. So instead of tariffing the entire world, they started to they taxed the American people. Trump says that is ending. Check this out.
General Keith Kellogg to be your special envoy on Russian-Ukraine issues.
We've made a lot of progress on Russia, Ukraine. We'll see what happens, but a lot of progress has been made. We're going to stop that ridiculous war. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have designation of Rick Grinnell, to be your envoy for special missions.
I sent him to California to turn on the water. We turned it on. It was not easy because we had to go through a lot of environmentalists that are causing a lot of problems. And we have billions of gallons of water. It was on 3 days ago. You probably saw. It should have gotten a lot of press, but it didn't get much. All we're doing is giving Los Angeles and the entire state of California virtually unlimited water, which they could have done 5 years ago, which I told them they should do, but the environmentalists stopped them. And we opened it, and we did it regardless of the state. And now the state seems to be very happy. I spoke with Gavin Newsom, and he He's very happy. I almost called him by the other name, didn't I? My little nickname for him. But I think they're all happy.
Just want to say, guys, we have over 1,700 people watching. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. Mr. Norby over here saying that he's going to donate big to the charities. If y'all, if we can get up to 1,700 likes, guys, let's do it.
They have a lot of water in California. Too bad we didn't have it about 2 months ago, right?
Mr. President.
That was, by the way, that was a big move. We have, I don't know if you saw the pictures that were released of the water pouring down from the Pacific Northwest and Canada and lots of other places. And it's a pretty amazing sight.
Mr. President, Rick Grinnell had a big Friday trip as well.
He had a very big Friday trip. You're right. We'll talk about that. He's a good man, Rick.
Lastly, sir, we have a designation of Mark Burnett as your special envoy to the United Kingdom.
You know who Mark Burnett is? I figure he should be good. He's certainly done a great job. Friend of mine and very talented guy. We have very talented people working for us. I'll hold that one up because Mark gets so much television. We'll hold it up, right? He'll be thrilled to see it. He's going to do a good job.
Thank you, sir. Next, your administration has smashed records for appointing large numbers of highly qualified, capable people at all levels of the federal government. These are 28 sub-cabinet level officials being appointed to a number of different departments and agencies. Some of them are quite important positions like departmental general counsels, but these are people who have been pre-vetted and have received your approval previously.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next, this is an executive order. This charges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you're seeing that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth. The people, my predecessors, we're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir. This is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work. And I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to study best practices as done around the world. It'll be a combination of liquid assets, assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people.
The extraordinary size and scale of the U.S. government and the business it does with companies should create value for American citizens. If we are going to buy 2 billion COVID vaccines, maybe we should have some warrants and some equity in these companies and have that grow for the help of the American people. So I bring all these things together. I think Scott and I will create an...
Guys, doesn't that sound amazing? Like, I wanted to show you this. Thank you so much, Anna Bouncing, for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Anna some love in the chat. So, USAID, this is what Elon Musk posted. USAID is a criminal, USAID is a criminal organization. Time for it to die. Look at this. Guys, this is what's happened now. Per the news, USAID workers are told not to go to their Washington HQ. Sources say Elon Musk has said President Trump agrees that the agency needs to shut down. Of course, when you're sending money to known terrorist groups, fraudulent groups, we should tear it down, guys. But that's not it. Remember, we've been telling you about what's going to happen, about all the new investigations into Chuck Schumer, into the FBI, into all the January 6th committee, guys. Listen to this. This, what I love, is accountability at its finest, guys. This is accountability. Check this out.
This had to be taken care of first. And it's not stopped. Somebody contacted me the other day, said, some of the senior guys over there are very worried about their jobs. I said, they shouldn't be worried about their jobs. They should be worried about their criminal defense. This is only the first step, stage one, step one. We're not doing it for Trump. We're not doing it for Navarro, Bannon, or any of the 1,000 of J6 guys rolled up, men and women. They have nothing to do with it. They're totally irrelevant. This has to be done because it has to be done. We cannot allow this republic to go forward with this cancer. It's a cancer over there. The deep state's a cancer. If they had, you couldn't forgive them, but you might understand if they had done an amazing job and the country was both prosperous and peaceful. We're not. We're besieged everywhere. And our enemies have infiltrated us, and we underwrite them. Your tax dollars underwrite them. That's why it's such a sham. They wrote reports. They looked at that. That's white supremacy. That's white nationalism. That's disruptive. That's how evil, the deepness in the evil. It's evil what was in the building. That's why that building, no cash, is not a museum to the deep state. You're just wrong there, sir. That building, which is brutalist architecture, it is such a scar on Pennsylvania Avenue. It has to be taken apart brick by brick.
100%.
And the earth salted around it like Carthage. And nothing ever again ever put there. As a memorial to what was allowed to take place in the late 20th and early 21st century. Forever, nothing could ever be built there. And just a small plaque in the middle to remind people that both political parties and the American people, and to have these things in Hollywood with the FBI shows, first thing I told kids, you got to go to Hollywood. First thing is take all the intellectual property. It's a disgrace. You have these shows and these people are all like superheroes. No, they're evil. It's evil. It's evil. When I'm in prison and you have these, the holiest people, the nicest people you will ever meet for praying the rosary outside of an abortion mill, and you get 5 years in a federal prison, and the way they were rousted.
Guys, thank you so much for your support. We're so close, guys. We got almost 1,800 people watching. Let's get to 1,500 likes. If you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, guys, please do so. It really does help out so much.
Jackbooted and kick down their doors and intimidate their families, intimidate their little children, so that psychological scar is always there. And you want mercy, you will not get mercy. I'm sorry. You will get justice. Yep. Unleavened with mercy. Accountability and justice. They must happen. This republic, we can never get this, we can't get onto the road to the constitutionality. You can't get onto the road of what the framers in the revolutionary generation had in mind until that is done. And that's why it must be done. It's not Trump, not about Trump. It's about something far deeper. It's what Trump is for the ages. Yep. A very imperfect instrument. And it's the imperfections that highlight the greatness. It's where we are. And we're not backing off this at all. They think if they think we're going to back off, they're mistaken. This has to play out to its logical conclusion. That's why Trump's on the hero's journey. Yep. Speaking of the hero's journey, the right...
Guys, let me tell you this. I want to show you this, guys. I hope you're sitting down because this is bad. But Chris13, thank you so much. First time giving a super chat. Let's go. And Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the super chat said, awesome brotherhood. Smash that like button. Let's go. And thank you so much. God bless America said, why isn't anyone talking about the UN is doing in Indiana or Klaus Schwab of all people doing there? Y'all show God bless Mr. Norby And Chris13, some love in the chat. So the Trump just pulled out of the UN, I think World Health humanitarian aid effort. He just pulled the United States out of it because there's more coming to that. God bless America. We'll get you a little bit later. But guys, look at this right here. This is insane. This is how much our taxpayer money politicians have given to foreign countries in the last 4 years. Mexico, almost 300 million. The Czech Republic, 324. All these from Pakistan, $500 million. Lebanon, $1 billion. Iraq, 2.2 billion. Afghanistan, 6 billion. Egypt, 6 billion. Ukraine, we know it's like 177 billion. Not for the war. This is just in regular aid. Israel, 8.5 billion. Guess what? USAID closed. No more. This money needs to come back to Americans. Thank you so much, Tai Mat Chong, for the super chat. Said, I'm glad Trump became the president of the U.S. because he cares about God's value. And also he said USA will put the knee down only to God. Thanks, Joel, True Life News. Let's go. Y'all show Ty some love in the chat. Guys, one of the big things that's happening right now is Jim Jordan has come out and said, we want answers. What the heck is going on with all of Trump's hearings? Why aren't these people getting confirmed? Check this out.
Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan from the great state of Ohio. Welcome, Chairman. It's great to see you as always.
You bet. Good to be with you, Trey.
All right, you've known Kash Patel for many years. I thought he did a really good job explaining why the Bureau needs to change and how he would do it. What did you think?
No, I thought he was confident. I thought he was composed and did a tremendous job taking the questions from both sides. And you and I know that Kash Patel is committed to protecting our liberty and making sure the FBI does their job and is focused on not politics, but going after the bad guys. But for him, and you were part of this, you were on the Intel Committee at the time, but for him, we would have never known what this whole Russia collusion thing, Russia-Trump collusion was a bunch of baloney. He put together that memo. He knows how to do the work that you're supposed to do in law enforcement, not this political operation that we've seen from the FBI, where they're saying if you're a pro-life parent, Catholic, you need to be investigated. If you're a parent showing up at your school board meeting, you need to be investigated, and on it goes. So Kash did a great job, and he's going to do an even better job when he's confirmed as the director of the next director of the FBI.
I know you prefer being introduced as an NCAA All-American wrestler, which you were, but the truth is you also have a law degree, which I know that you like to keep a secret, but now I'm sharing with the world. So how would you change the FBI if Kash called you and said, look, Jim, you actually are a lawyer, even though you've kept that a secret. How should I change the FBI? What would you tell them?
Go back to focusing on what the American people think the FBI should be doing. Right now, Trey, there's about $11 billion budget at the FBI. Over half of that is spent on intel, counterterrorism. And I understand that's part of the mission now of the FBI, but more than half the resources both in staff and in agents and in money is spent to that. How about going after organized crime? How about going after bad guys? How about helping deal with the things most Americans think the FBI should be focused on instead of this foreign intelligence issue and the political stuff that they've been involved with over the last several years. So I think that is a sort of fundamental focus. Couple basic reforms we want. We want protections for whistleblowers to come talk to us. We had a number of FBI agents come talk to us as whistleblowers, and they were retaliated against by the FBI. We also think when the FBI interviews someone, there should be an audio recording of that interview so they can't play games with the 302 like they did with Michael Flynn and others. So those are some of the key things that we think need to change that I think Kash will do when he's confirmed.
All right, Kash Patel promised to be more cooperative with Congress. Are there outstanding requests for information from your committee directed at either Main Justice or the Bureau that have yet to be responded to?
Yeah, I want to know who planted the pipe bombs on January 6th, any information he has on that. We got pictures and video of this guy who supposedly did it. Why don't we know who this is? I want to know about the 26 confidential human sources who were there on January 26th. 17 went in restricted space. They weren't allowed to do that. Excuse me, 4 went in the Capitol. They weren't permitted. They didn't have authorization to do that. 2 of the 4 who went in the Capitol were asked by the FBI to be there that day. I want to know how long these guys have been confidential human sources for the FBI, how much they've been paid, were they paid that day, how much were they paid, how did they go into the Capitol? Were they some of the first people in? Did they go in through the door? Did they go in through a broken window? All kinds of questions we have about those individuals that we need answers to. I want to know in the David Weiss investigation some of the things that he would not answer when we deposed him, like why they didn't go after the tax years on Hunter Biden when he was getting all the money from Burisma, why they let the statute of limitations lapse for that. So there are tons of, I want to know Jay Bratt, who worked for Jack Smith, why he said to a lawyer representing a defendant in the classified documents case, why he said to that lawyer, we didn't know you were a Trump guy. We thought you were interested in this federal judge position. I mean, those are questions I want to know, and I think the American people want answers to those questions. So we want all that information. We're going to work with Pam Bondi. We're going to work with Kash Patel. We're going to work with Todd Blanche, all the people of the Justice Department to get answers to those key questions that I think the country, the people, have a right to understand.
Chairman, I think you are going to find a much more responsive Department of Justice and Bureau. You mentioned Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. I'll be very surprised if you don't get the information that you are and have been looking for.
Guys, let me tell you this. We've got the Trump reckoning is happening. Want to say thank you to everybody that's watching, guys. We got almost 1,900 people watching. If you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, guys, please do so. It really does help out the channel so much. We want to bring the truth to you guys as much as possible. We do Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And guys, I just love that we're finally getting transparency with the United States, with our taxpayer dollars, with our elected leaders who are literally showing us what everybody has thought for so long, but we never had the proof until somebody got in on the inside like Elon Musk to show us what is going on. I love it. Want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And want to say thank you, guys, to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Mr. Tracy J. Norby, let's go. He said, here is for a great shot at trying to hit that mark in watchers. We are the greatest at loving family here. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Mr. Norby. Y'all show him some love in the chat. Show some love to Paul Triggs, Clifton Thompson, Sherry Garcia, Anna Bouncing, Chris 13. God bless America, Ty Matt Chong. Guys, we couldn't do it without you. You are amazing. We are here to serve you every day with the top news, guys. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that we get to do that every single day for you. Remember, no matter what happens, guys, we're going to report the truth. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's the truth. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.